It's not your fault, Jeff.
Okay.
No.
Technology.
Although after you just said, "Oh, everybody's getting waved," like it wasn't a problem.
That's so funny. You know what
jinxed it.
I was just in a 12-person meeting for like 2 hours today on Zoom, and they waved it for us. Like just maybe 3 hours before this.
Well, so
maybe it's during business hours.
Maybe.
You know what happened during my last one, when they said if I scheduled another one, they would waive it. But I scheduled next month's Books and Bars because I already had this one scheduled. So they're not counting this one, but they're going to give me next month is already waived. So,
but maybe they didn't count this one. So who knows? Anyways, I missed the completion of the last question of Father Earth over Mother Earth situation. Can whoever was asking, like, re-ask it, please?
That was me. So I was wondering what people thought if Jemisin was, just doing the Father Earth versus Mother Earth to make it different from our world, or if she was making a statement on gender and how anger is like often characterized as like a masculine emotion. And like this earth is not like, comforting and taking care of its children. And so it's a paternal figure instead of a maternal figure. I don't know if that was like, I'm thinking potentially it is intentional, especially since like so many of like Espen is a mother and we focus so much on like her role as a mother in the books. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing. And I was wondering what everyone thought.
So I don't think that it was really a gender issue. I think she was switching things just enough to make them different. Like instead of calling people engineers, she was calling them engineers, or just changing things ever so slightly with like geologists and historians and that kind of stuff. So I think to me it felt a little lazy in the sense that she wasn't coming up with completely different things. She was kind of just like shortening or changing things very slightly. It didn't seem like a full, hey, there's my cat, isn't she cute? It didn't seem complete. So,
I love that.
Yeah, it didn't seem complete to me.
Anyone else? Otherwise, I see Angela has her hand up also.
I guess I didn't start thinking anything. You could definitely realize like, okay, there's like clearly a mating ritual. You're expected to carry a baby. Let's make more origins. All of that. I never drew the conclusion that Father Earth, I read it, I'm like, oh, that's different. But I didn't see really any massive difference in the rest of the storytelling that was like male versus female. I mean, we can't help that we carry babies and that they want a species to survive, but it was still like you're still expected to go out and do the things and, calm earthquakes and all of that stuff. So all the cessing and that happened. So I didn't feel like there was any strange like connection with male female roles other than what we're built to do technically. I will say, going super far back, I would agree though that I felt like the ending was really kind of abrupt. You got to know like all these things, you're like, holy crap, they all combine. And then you're like, oh, okay, well this is suddenly ending. Now I have to read the next book. So you're like you're super involved in the story and you're like, well, no, I have to read the next book if I have the time. But overall, I didn't see any strong roles from male to female.
Caitlin, your hand is up.
I thought it was intentional. I felt that, throughout the book, there were little moments of kind of confusion for me and curiosity. And I did finish the book today. I am out of state and I, like all of us, are stuck at home. So I was looking for books to read and realized, oh, we're doing it on Zoom this time, so I can actually attend. So I read it and like grabbed it from Barnes and Noble, like the last day we were allowed to leave our houses out here, and finished it today. But now I'm really wanting to go back and look more closely at some of these things, because I think that the gender choice of Father Earth was very deliberate. And I don't know that, I think the lack of kind of overt commentary on it and making it a strong point fits in with the point earlier that this book has so much gender fluidity in it. And it's done so effortlessly, and it's so nuanced, and all of these little kind of underlying things coming together are also nuanced. One thing I noticed, or that I noticed right away with the book, was this, with all this confusion that was kind of, I'd have these moments reading where I'd be very puzzled about something, and it would be, and I couldn't quite put my finger on like, why is that puzzling? And you know, the author's kind of way of revealing things to us throughout the book, without having to tell us, in kind of these odd sort of trajectories, I think. But I think it was really intentional making it Father Earth. I'm not sure what it meant at this point. Like, I feel like I need to go back and look for more little clues. You know, I think the subtle differences of the Father Earth to me was portrayed more like, not a villain per se, but much more antagonistic in terms of the turmoil that he was able to cause. And if you look at, you know, on the one hand, it's kind of this interesting dichotomy. On the one hand, in the book, everything's so gender fluid, and it doesn't really matter which gender you are in some ways. And there were times with the book where I paused and even wondered, like, I wonder in this world how gender is determined, because it seemed to me that it was disassociated from, you know, the anatomical sex, or it was disassociated from the normal gender indicators that we stereotypically use in our world. But there were other times where, if you think about like the role of, you know, a female origin going to a male mentor, you know, that's obviously a gender statement in a certain way. Or, you know, there were other like little moments where there were clear commentaries. And so to me, it makes sense, or it just seems obvious that it must have been intentional, but I think it must have been in a very nuanced way that I now need to go back and figure out by looking at the book a little bit more closely.
So I thought maybe it was intentional because Essen's husband, like the other father figures they showed in the book, besides like Father Earth as a character, were not great. Like Shafa clearly has paternal instincts towards Demaya, but he's like abusive. And then Essen's husband kills their son. So we have, you know, examples of Essen as a mother, and she's not necessarily like a great mother all of the time, or even as wanting to be a mother all of the time, but she approaches her role in a very different way than the men in the book who are fathers, or who are father figures.
I didn't think about that before, but the only real positive father figure we have is Alabaster, but he's not portrayed as a typical masculine father. You know, he's portrayed as being more homosexual than heterosexual. And then in contrast to that, the other kind of, you know, you have at the end of the book, you have the 3 parents or scenario of the non-conventional family. You know, that's kind of the best example of fatherhood that we get in this book. And that doesn't even, I mean, that's very much kind of against our stereotypical traditional norms of what kind of the father figure should be. And so I think, you know, and kind of having that Father Earth, you know, kind of shattering our own ideas of what parenthood is and what a good parent is. And I think throughout the book, you kind of have these tensions with our expectations of parents.
Rachel's had her hand up for a while. Rachel G.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much I'm going to add now, but we talked about this in Minneapolis. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And I don't want to dabble in stereotypes, but when we think of like Mother Earth imagery, we think of caring for us. We need to care for her back. She gives us this bounty every spring and summer. We can harvest it. It's more of a caring figure. So maybe Father Earth. I'm not saying that all fathers are like this. Mine certainly is not very caring. But when you think of like literature imagery, like Father Earth might be more something that you need to be careful around, be afraid of, might attack you, like not like attack you, but like the Earth is like can't rely on it, and it could just flare up at any time unexpectedly. So I feel like maybe you wouldn't use the Mother Earth imagery for this Earth because it's not something that people think of as a traditionally caring thing. It's something that you need to watch yourself around and constantly be on your watch about. So I'm not saying that fathers are like that, but I think maybe that's where they came from. It's not, they don't think of the Earth is more of like their enemy and something they have to survive rather than something that it's a partnership and they're taking care of. But.
Yeah, we did talk about this in Minneapolis, and I mean, yeah, they're angry. They hate Father Earth. I mean, Father Earth is a vengeful, angry God, if you will, and which is totally opposite of the way we talk about Mother Earth. And so I don't know if anyone that's read book 2 or 3, if that's explored more and maybe explained, but if that is, then everyone except Katie will find out because she just won't do any more series. She has too many books to read.
So yes, I have too many books to read. I will probably find out because I was intrigued enough by this book to probably pick up the next 2. I think that the Father Earth element and the overall tone of the book had anger to it. Hostility, a little bit of anger, a little bit of hurt and directional emotions. But I want to more so talk about how I felt about the relationships in the book because everyone has like touched on that. And someone had said that there wasn't really like traditional father figures, but we forget about Einon. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he was kind of like that middle ground between the 2 main characters and as far as like being parents go. And I was really surprised in this book to find this dynamic, this polyamorous, multi-person, communal raising of a child. It really comes back to like it takes a village because they were in a village and everyone helped to raise the children. But I was really, really impressed and intrigued by the fact that they made a polyamorous bisexual relationship the core of this family, and that I appreciate. I don't know where she was going with it. I don't know necessarily why she did that, but I find it refreshing and amazing in the sense that like we're moving towards a society that can like talk openly about such things and understand that not everyone lives a XYZ lifestyle, and that's okay. And it not only is it okay, but in certain regards, it works better than our traditional church-bred monogamous, you need to have a man and a woman. Like, dude, let's go back to it takes a village, whatever that village may look like it takes more than one person. It takes more than 2 people. It takes more than a village to make sure that humans are balanced and open and involved and loving. So I was impressed by that aspect of this book, like truly impressed that there was a bisexual polyamorous relationship in a mainstream book.
Yeah, it's one of the points up top that when I talked about how these things aren't like this could have been this sci-fi book or this fantasy book is about this, and this is, you know, look at this, these are the characters, can you believe it, that sort of thing. But it's not. And I love that, how that relationship grows over the course of the book.
It wasn't a spectacle, which is what I like too.
Yeah, and they do not get along. They hate each other at first, and I love how it grows, you know, and then when it adds another member to the group, and you really start to feel for that whole, you know, threesome. That relationship is really at the core of this, of who I cared about in this story. So yeah. Good point. Tony, Ninja Magic Tony, you had your hand up and then it went away, but I just wanted to say Ninja Magic Tony out loud because you took advantage of getting yourself a really cool name in here. So if Ninja Magic Tony wants to say anything, you know.
Yeah, as soon as I learned how to rechange my name, I had to do something. I'd actually forgotten about it, but yeah, no. I think it's interesting the bringing up of the stereotypes of men and women of the sexes. You know, when we think about we do have Mother Earth, and then we have Father Time, which is, you know, kind of a kick in the pants.
Right.
So I think that it actually works pretty well in this world that they use Father Earth as this mean, vengeful person, and then that the originists are from him, and further, you know, based on the stone tablets, they're actually bad, though you can train them and enslave them to do good things. Yeah, I actually thought it was, I looked at it less as an allegory of climate change and more as an allegory of race or class relations. That's really, you know, maybe that's just where I am, but that's what really spoke to me in this book.
That's great. I definitely see that too. I'm wondering, does anyone else have something that they want to call out that they think Jemisin was really trying to say with this story? Maybe something that we haven't brought up yet. I don't know, maybe you've even heard her express that she's quite...
The bathroom is cleaned up.
Everyone, you should make sure your bathrooms are cleaned up and all surface areas, your hands, everything. They should be totally cleaned. Ninja Magic Tony, I believe, has muted himself now. But I think he's going to have the cleanest bathroom out of all of us. Obviously, there's a team working on it. So I think that's great. I mean, you guys also have the Zoom video of the woman who brought it with her into the bathroom and proceeded to use the toilet in front of like her team in like a meeting that I think she started.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I'll share it with you. It's
I just went and got more beer. That's the only reason I disappeared. Okay.
It's just good to see you again. You were moving. I like that you were moving around. Yeah, and Angela was worried about you. We're all checking in. The chivalrousness is on here because, you know, someone told me Eileen told me that Katie's hand was up, you know, so it's
are we sticking around for another beer? I should go grab another beer then too.
You know, hey, we still have 20 and a half minutes before they kick us out of this one. So, I mean,
I went from a Rocky Road Imperial Stout to a Irish cream stout, all from Tin Whiskers. So it's
your
good
local.
stuff.
Support your local. I also saw
Support
Rachel
local.
went and got an actual bottle of wine while she was cuddling her puppies, and I appreciate that about her.
excellent.
She's my favorite animal.
I said I got to get my puppy in here. I'm surprised he hasn't made an appearance yet. So,
Hey, my cats, I'm surprised you've only seen one of them because my computer, which has my phone sitting on it, is sitting on top of a jigsaw puzzle. And my cat, Sammy, loves to eat the jigsaw puzzles and thinks I'm ignoring her because I'm working on a puzzle. So there's a lot going on this table, so she should be more present, but she's not.
I just texted someone in my house to send the dog up, which is normally it's someone taking it because I want him to make an appearance in the video. So anyway, okay. Anyone else on, you know, maybe things they think Jemisin was trying to say with this, or something that you took from this that we haven't touched on yet?
Yes.
Donna, your hand's up.
Yeah, I have a hand.
I see it.
I would just like to say that I think one of the things that came through so strongly, in addition to all the things people have said, is that I think there's sort of a sense here that the Earth, there have been multiple fifth seasons before. There's been kind of a regeneration and a regeneration and a regeneration. It seems like there's a message here about the Earth and beings of some sort will survive and go on, even if there are screw ups and mistakes and so on by these various beings. And maybe I'm thinking about that more now with this pandemic and all, but it sort of feels like humans can screw it up, but the Earth will survive, and it'll take different shapes and forms and strengths and weaknesses, but there's kind of a timelessness to it that I thought was pretty poetic. And there is a very cute dog now on Jeff's lap that I think we need to be introduced to.
Well done. Thanks for your comment and your point. I think it's very valid that, yes, we will probably be gone and the Earth will, Father Earth or Mother Earth will live on without us. This is Cosmo. You may have heard about
Cosmo.
him before. Cosmo is 5.5, but everyone still thinks he's a puppy because he's a mini golden doodle. And yeah, he loves us right now. Do you guys see that headline? Nation's dogs effing loving whatever is going on right now. The amount of attention and the walks this guy's getting.
Yeah,
right?
My cats love that I'm home all the time.
Really?
Like, they're on my lap 24/7 whenever they can. Like, even if I do get up to like go to the bathroom now, they're like, "Where are you going? We're supposed to be on the couch." And I'm like, I gotta get up at some point, okay? But back to the last, I am their life. I am their life. But back to the comment about Earth getting on as it normally would, like, this isn't new. There's been ice ages, there's been people, there's been animals and stuff already in the course of documented, found information about our current world. This to me had a feel of maybe, of possibility, of even if we screw it up exponentially terribly bad, which we are. There's been a great series, I can't remember the name of it now, but it basically goes into like how nature takes back over buildings and structures and that kind of stuff, and after like humans are gone, and it doesn't take very long, and then evolution starts again. And this book doesn't touch on evolution, it touches on people surviving, and that really touched me in the current climate that we have now, and just people surviving. Even if this pandemic, for lack of a really not sensitive term, I'm like, even if this is like culling the herd, we're gonna make it. Things are gonna be okay. It's just, I think the world is telling us, Mother Earth is telling us that there's too many drains on the resources, there's too many things, we need to do things differently. Even though the book wasn't as extreme as saying that, it touched on it subtly as shifts in the plate tectonics, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the fires, ways of, unfortunately, for lack of a better word, also eliminating people to make sure that things didn't get out of control. So while I thought this book was light in the sense that it did have levity and it did have the interpersonal interactions between the characters, it was also really heavy for me.
Understandable. I see we have some new people joining us. If you want to raise your hand, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, you can chat something if it's off our question right now. We were talking about some of our takeaways from the book and anything we got from it. And I did see in the chat, if we have to do this again, we should do pets and show and tell and stuff first. I agree.
Yes.
But I gotta tell you, I sent it all to you. We do have to do this at least one more time. And I don't want to say it as a have to, because I think we can make this better and we'll get better at it. And I myself personally, I promise I'll get better at it and make it more interesting and fun and all that. But we do, because bars and restaurants, they're all still closed except for takeout until May 1st. So we don't have venues that we can meet in. We're not allowed to in Minnesota. So we will do another video chat. I sent you the info for it on April 15th. And it'll be a joint video chat for Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's Wednesday, April 15th. You don't have to have your taxes done for that day. So, you know, you might as well celebrate with us, and we'll talk Daisy Jones in the 6th.
I was laughing about Angela saying like funny hats or like costumes. I'm like,
yeah.
And you know, if we're talking about takeout, this is like Books and Bars takeout, right?
Yeah, this is it's BYOB. You know, it's Books and No Bars. You kind of make your own home bar, I guess, with it.
Bar.
But
Better be stocked.
Eileen, you don't have and can't get the book for April. So here's the thing. Our sponsors, Subtext and Moon Palace, are both taking orders and shipping to people, sometimes even maybe hand delivering. So if you prefer one of those stores, Subtext or Moon Palace, I think they could get it for you. Otherwise, I don't know how you normally do it. If you do it from the library, unless you do it digitally, you probably won't be able to get it. You know, there are other ways that you could probably have it shipped to you in time. I have the audio book of it. Otherwise, I would send it to you and share it. But it's a really good audio book, Daisy Jones and the 6th, for next month. But if you're having a hard time finding it, if you normally buy from Matt at Subtext or from Moon Palace, I know that they're trying really hard to get people their books still. So you could check with them. I could connect you to them if you're interested in trying to get it that way. So yeah, Matt, Subtext is hand delivering. Yeah, order it online. These are some options.
So Jeff, are you going to do a playlist for it? It's such a book, so
Yes.
much about music.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there's already some really good playlists that others have made. So I looked at those from the start. I mean, the first, I've already finished it. Maybe some of you have too. I really get a Fleetwood Mac vibe from it. It really feels like that's kind of the inspiration for it, that time and the type of people in the band. So it would start with a lot of Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks kind of vibe to it. But yeah, I'll make a playlist and share that. And maybe next time you'll be able to hear what I'm playing. I was playing Who's Zoomin' Who by Aretha Franklin also to kick off tonight. But I got to get better at this. I will. We still have 11 minutes before they boot us and we have to start another one. So Kevin, your hand is up again. What you got, Kevin? Can you hear us? Are you on?
Yes, I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Is audio back? Okay,
yes.
That's good. I switched from my laptop to my tablet. But I thought maybe with the quarantine, I don't know my job situation is in limbo at the moment. I am laid off, and there could be room for a bonus Books and Bars. I don't know if you would have a bonus book or a bonus Books and Bars that you might think about for the middle of April. I'm not saying you have to come up with this on the spot, Jeff, but I would participate in a bonus book for April.
You know, here's what I was thinking about doing. Your excellent idea. I was thinking about trying to find books that we've all already read, like a majority of people. Like maybe pick something that maybe you missed the discussion, or we never had a discussion, or something that or maybe it's timely, like Station 11, since, you know, if you like to read into the sphere. I got 10 more minutes, it's telling me now. So I didn't get that message last time, I swear. I did not get the warning. But there's a 10-minute warning now I just got.
I say if we're going to do like an interim book, short, like The Ocean at the End of the Lane, very much, why am I drawing a blank on his name right now?
Neil
God
Gaiman.
damn it.
Neil
Gaiman, yes. Very short book, super easy read, quick, but it's a really like complex kind of book, but short.
Yeah.
I go to work, but I've still got like 8 hours of free time when I get home, you know?
Well, I was thinking, you know, and it wouldn't have to be, I wouldn't expect it to be, it would be like extra credit. It would just be like for fun, throw it up there. Like, you know,
I'd do it.
and I'd be happy if a few people wanted to do it. Maybe it's I'll take a poll or something, and see what most people would want to talk about, and we can take it from there. But yeah, I'll try to do another thing in the next couple weeks before the next one. But so April, we do have to do a video chat again, April 15th, and we'll try to combine the two, and maybe there'll be another one before that, the extra credit one. But in another world, I could see just doing, these, especially with people that can't be with us in the Twin Cities, so people that want to participate and finding a way to incorporate that more. I really want to get back to the live events. The one of the worst things you could be right now in looking for a job is a live event producer. There aren't live events. An online event producer. That's got to be a new job that I'll have to get good at. So, but yeah. So, okay. What else on N.K. Jemisin and the 5th season? I'm going to read the 2nd book and the 3rd book. I don't know when, but I plan on finishing this story. At the very least, if you don't have time, you could read the synopsis that the Sci-Fi Book Club put together for you.
Are there Cliff Notes?
Yeah, it's pretty much Cliff Notes. Yeah, there's synopsis of all the books and characters. And
N.K. Jemisin's new book just came out.
Yes.
The City We Became. I just ordered it from Moon Palace, so they're gonna ship it to me. But I'm excited for that one. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I am too. And I also knew Emily St. Jane Mandel, who wrote Station 11, The Glass Hotel. Her new book just came out, and I'm looking forward to that one too. I've been thinking a lot about Station 11. Seems to be the book that has reminded me of what we're in right now, more so than some others. There's a few I had people putting a list on the Facebook page, like The Stand and World War Z. But I don't know, there's something about the flu pandemic in Station 11 that takes out 99% of the population that is scaring me right now, thinking about this one. But there I go, doom and gloom again. I'm not cheering people up. But maybe you saw the picture I sent of who's behind COVID-19. I sent it in the chat. Hopefully you can open that. If I was able to share the screen, this would have been like what you saw when we opened tonight. But,
I don't want doom and gloom, which I know you could not have predicted what was going to happen in the world, but this was it was too similar, it hit too close to home for me. And you're not the only one who suggested this book. I was looking on MSN and they had a list of books to read during the pandemic, and like some of them were biographies and that kind of stuff, but there were very much like what to read about the pandemic. And this book was on the list, and actually more than probably like half a dozen books from Books and Bars were on this list. And I was like, I've read it because of Books and Bars, and I've read it because of Books and Bars, read it because of Books and Bars. And for me, it was weird just because of the timing of it all, that it made me uncomfortable in the sense that like we're talking about end of the world kind of stuff. At the same time, it wasn't necessarily a pandemic. I could have used a bit more levity in this time frame, but no one could have known. But I was like, this is so dark to what we're like actually experiencing. And I was like, oh God, it's an easy read, get through it, like move on to something happy, like even in small doses.
I understand.
Happy books.
Happy books. Okay.
Yeah.
So the extra credit one should be light, short, happy.
Yes.
And take our minds off of things for fun. Not an assignment.
Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Ham. Sorry.
It's all right. Did you see though? LeVar Burton has he's been allowed by Neil Gaiman to read anything by Neil Gaiman because he's reading stuff online. There's a bunch of great people that are finding ways to occupy their time with fun videos and stuff.
Oh, can we bring it back to like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Like something super fun and completely.
Has anyone read anything by Becky Chambers? If we're thinking of sci-fi.
No.
She has great books, and like they all are in the same universe and sort of connected, but you don't need to read any of them in order. But her first book was called A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and it's, I don't know, I mean, it's got some like sad things in it, but you know, that's just life. But it's like a very character-driven sci-fi novel that's more about how people interact with each other, and it's very, you know, interesting and sweet, and I really love her books.
Cool. Becky Chambers.
Becky Chambers, I would recommend all of her stuff.
Okay, so why don't we let's get a list going, either on our Facebook page or on Twitter, and then I'll maybe post a poll and we can vote on it, and then whoever wants to do it, we can, you know, do something before April 15th if we have time. And I also
I'm pretty sure we'll all have time, Jeff.
Even if we do it the week after.
Okay.
You know, if we have that one set for the 15th, if we do it for like the 22nd.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because
and I did see someone make a text comment about being out of state and like missing this. I am appreciating the Zoom aspect of it, and I think it's really great for people who aren't local in order, like if they've moved away and missed this about being in the Twin Cities. Like I think that's a really great opportunity. Like,
there's 3 or 4 people I know who might do that too. They're like 3 or 4 people, who would do that from out of state.
Or agoraphobics who don't want to leave the house. I totally get it. I mean,
My Lovely Wife, Nice Romp. Is that a book that I thought that was a
wait, did you just say your wife has a nice rump? Wait.
No, I'm sorry. I saw something called My Lovely Wife, Nice Romp from Lisa Everyone.
Wait, I need to go get more
No
beer.
more beer for you, Katie. No more beer for you.
All right. Well,
I started early.
This one's about to come to an end, but hopefully you guys have the information. Of course, I will share it many more times about the April 15th chat, and then we'll plan another one, like an extra credit one for fun. Thank you all for sticking with it and supporting things, and I really hope we can all get together and see each other face to face in May. But if it's not good for us to do that, I also hope we don't just rush things and try to open the country by Easter because it's Easter and the economy needs 0.03% of a bump or whatever. So, hey, I'm okay with staying home if it's going to save some lives too. So, I miss everybody. I miss you all. And let's keep in touch online and stay safe. Keep washing those hands. Keep petting those pets.
Stay well.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Cheers. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.